What's up, dudes? I'm answering some questions today that people asked on a video that I posted 2 days ago. The video was titled Ask Me Anything. So there's a bunch of comments and there is a theme along a lot of the questions, you know, a lot of repeats. So I will definitely try to cover those, and I'll try to make this less than 8 minutes or so because I'm actually in the middle of my day in the life right now that I'm filming for midnight. So let's get started. What is your camera setup? I have a Canon T3i. I use my cell phone a lot. The iPhone 6s is actually a better camera than most cameras you can get nowadays, and the autofocus is insane. So I would definitely recommend having an iPhone 6s. What tips do you have for staying so productive? Paul Flaherty. Basically, staying so productive is really easy when you are staying really productive. I know that makes very little sense, but if you start off by doing something that you know is productive and forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do, for me it's waking up and maybe doing a couple push-ups. Sometimes I wake up and I just want to stay in bed, but I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna get up, I'm just gonna do something very, very easy. That's what it is. You do very, very easy things, and it makes you want to do harder things in the future and for the day. So by the end of the day, usually if you have like a lot of things under your belt, like a lot of really small activities, like take out the trash or stuff like that, then by the end of the day you'll be so amped that you probably will conquer a lot more. And for me, since I always do that, and it's a continuous process of doing very easy, tedious things, this time in my life I'm doing things that I think are very productive every single day. So it's by starting really small. How much time does it take to edit your daily videos? Daniel Cooper asked that. It doesn't take me, well, maybe like 2 to 3 hours usually. A lot of the questions are asking about my online baby clothing store, like what made you want to start it? Basically, Marcus Cooper said, what made you do the baby store thing? Basically, I knew someone who did the online baby store thing. I had an ex-girlfriend whose mom did it for a living. She kind of got me into the idea of it, and then I just kind of took it and ran with it. But I like the idea of just making clothes and kind of working on my own time, and I knew there was money in it, to be completely honest. I knew there was a huge demographic out there who buys baby onesies, of course. I mean, newborn moms, they're the highest paying demographic in America. So I knew like I had an advantage over there, and I knew like I was creative and I could design things pretty well. I had a really good understanding of Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop in general, so it kind of just a lot of things added up and made it really easy for me to do that job. A lot of the questions kind of feed into other questions, like this question from KJ Skateboarding 1. What made you move out to California in the first place? Skateboarding business. P.S. Keep up the great vids, man. I appreciate that. Skateboarding 100%. When I was a kid, I had one dream in mind, and that was become a professional skateboarder. And in a sense, I guess I'm still on the similar path, but I found about 15 other outlets along that path that I've like utilized and had a really good time experimenting with when it comes to filmmaking, YouTube, even the baby clothing store stemmed from skating in some ways, and like the success I've had in that business comes from my knowledge that I've gained from skateboarding. It's weird how that works. But that question feeds perfectly into this question. I'm having trouble finding the question now, but someone asked why I want to start a YouTube channel. Well, the truth is I really, really enjoy filmmaking. I really enjoy skating. I really enjoy getting content out there as quick as possible and having interactions with like people who are interested in what I'm doing. And I had Instagram for a while, and that was kind of the cusp of the feeling that I get from YouTube now, which was like people talking to me and me interacting and just posting skate clips. And I would do like selfie clips, and there were a lot of like rules and regulations in actual skateboarding, and there's a lot of like cool guy action where it's like you want to be as legit as possible. And I believe in like being a kid forever and being as silly as you want and doing whatever you want whenever you want. And I feel like in skateboarding, as much as people think that that's what the world consists of, it's really not. A lot of the people that you see and respect, I bet, in skateboarding have been like asked to sort of skate that way or asked to do certain things that like they probably don't feel comfortable doing. And also, I love skateboarding so much that as I was pursuing it, I started realizing how much I took skating for granted, and how much I didn't really like the idea of going out and doing something because I had to. Because I had to get a few photos one time, I had to get a video one time, and it was stressful. Like I was like, oh, I do this stuff well and I do this stuff a lot, you know, like getting content, but I really hate the idea of doing it for somebody else with very, very little reward. And now everything I film and everything I do myself, it's immediately rewarded. I post it up and people like it. And that to me is like the ultimate reward. Yeah. Period. Also, my life has been pretty interesting lately, and I've been traveling a lot, and like there's a lot I'm learning, and you know, with like making a little extra money, I have the ability to do things that I've never been able to do before. And I just got on Force Wheels, and like I just felt like out of all opportunities in my life and times in my life, this is the best time to film because it's a very interesting story, and it will be a very interesting story for a long time here on out. And I just really wanted to storytell. That's like my thing also, and I like talking a lot, so YouTube was perfect for me. Okay, this question is from Everything You Want to Be, which I think is a cool name. He said, is living in LA expensive? I guess you save on heating and cooling. Heard you mention that once. Is rent a lot? Yes. Living in LA is very expensive and should only happen for people who can use the city for a career. Basically, if you're doing something where LA benefits your career or benefits the path you want to go on, I'd say move here. But if it doesn't at all and you're just kind of wanting to be in a pretty place, you can, but know that you're going to be spending at least twice as much as you spend anywhere else. Everyone in my family spends less than half of what I pay, and they all have at least 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom houses, and I have a small studio. Think about that. Lewis Guest says, are you going to go pro soon? I don't know. Honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't even have a board sponsor, but there are things in the works. TC Gliscor asks, what do you recommend for people starting their own businesses in order to be successful? Since you have a business yourself, figured you'd be the one to ask. Okay, the biggest thing I've learned from trying to get people to buy product from you and to build a business is to 100% pretend that you're the customer. You have to really think about what you want, not what you think is cool, but what you actually want. So if you sit there and think like, you know what, I really do like pillows without the covers, or something like that. If you think of something really specific that you really enjoy and like, chances are other people will like it, because there's at least an audience of one, you. So other people out there are going to want the same thing. For me, it was easy for me to expand the onesie business because I really understood the kind of designs that I thought were funny and I thought were attractive, and I would create the designs, and if I wasn't laughing at it, I would delete it. I created a new design, if I wasn't laughing, I would delete it. Like immediately, that's how I do every single time, because I started really grasping the concept of understanding what the customer wants. Also, there's a lot of tutorials and a lot of videos you can watch about expanding businesses, about social marketing, about marketing in general. I would say go on YouTube and type in, start from the very bottom, get a piece of paper and start writing this stuff down. Be like, how do I start a business? You know, write down everything you possibly can, because from there you're gonna hear a few things, like you're gonna hear terms, you know, like Google AdWords and just random stuff, and then you're gonna write those down, and then eventually you're gonna study those things, and then as you start going along, this is what I did, you learn so much information, and by the time you're done, you kind of have a simple grasp of how to start something and at least start pushing it out there, and how to like really spend time working a lot to build something cool. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of hours of your day. So if you're willing to spare 13 to 14 hours a day, which is what I did to build this, it should be good. Ed Bridger says, are you going to employ somebody for your business? Actually, yeah, Josh Love already works for me. If you've seen any of my other videos, he's like this long dread guy who's the coolest guy ever. He's one of my best friends, but yeah, he technically works for me. I'm gonna try to end this video answering 2 questions with 1 answer. Gucci Mane says, now I can't find it. What are your future plans in life? And Jeff Hardy 8249 says, tell your ex-girlfriend story. I don't know why I think I can combine these, but I'm gonna try. My ex-girlfriend, the only reason I mentioned her ever is because of how productive I am nowadays because of the situation I went with her. She moved to California. We lived together for a while. It was cool. And then I moved out. She kicked me out. And then I lived on a couch, and she had this business, and then we ended up working together still, and basically she was crazy. She's okay now, but she was crazy at the time, and I had to like really fight to survive. I had no money, no job. I quit my job to work for her business, and then basically I got fired from it, and then she gave up on the business, so basically we were sitting on this business that was gonna fall under, and it did. Yeah, the onesie business originally actually failed. But we were doing really well for a while, and she let it die. So I lost my job, I lost my place, I lost everything in California. I lost like my girlfriend, and I really cared about her. She came from Columbia, South Carolina, and then she was the one taking everything away, so it eventually became like me being mad at her and trying to fight my way through. Basically, I felt like she was standing on my throat, holding a gun to my head, and any second she would just fire. And I seriously felt that way. Like I felt like completely lost, and I was like, I'm going home. I can't do this anymore. And then one day I just decided like, dude, I'm not going down like this. I did not move to California to fail this hard and this huge, because I am failing. I am falling down this mountain. And then one day I started reading, and I started like really studying, and I spent 13 to 14 hours a day. Literally every second I was awake, I spent studying. I spent in like Starbucks and Barnes & Noble. That's why I go there so often now. But I was like reading this book at Barnes & Noble because I couldn't afford it at the time. And I would just read it every day, and it was like Social Marketing for Dummies. And then I read like 4 Hour Work Week, and I just kept going on and on and on, and finally I I built the company myself. I recreated the company. I built it myself, and I turned it into something awesome. And if it wasn't for me trying to survive, you know, honestly, the worst hell of my life that I went through because of her, you know, like, choosing a different lifestyle that I don't want to talk about too much on camera because it's kind of harsh and it's definitely the opposite of my lifestyle, but it motivated me to succeed. And basically I felt like I was in a hole, and as soon as I got out of the hole, like, it took me forever to climb out, and the second I got out, I didn't just like lay in the grass and like, oh, it's so nice to be out. I was like, what else can I climb? Like, it kind of felt like that. And you know, I have her to thank for that. As hellish as that whole situation was, I have her fully to thank for my motivation nowadays. My motivation kind of comes from trying to fight my way out of things. My whole life, every success that I've had is trying to like survive these situations and trying to like make myself happy through situations that were kind of tough for me. And I think a lot of times that's what people do. They spend a lot of time trying to fill a void that is unfillable, but it makes you super productive and it makes your life awesome, because progression, I think, is happiness, especially for me. So my future plans: I am moving in 2 months, 2.5 months. I'm moving. I'm getting out of California. I'm going somewhere else for 6 months. My plans are to travel every 6 months to a new location and move. So unfortunately for the viewers, I will be spending a lot of times with very similar people often, but I will not be living in the same place for too long each time. It'll be like 6-month periods, and I'm just gonna travel a lot. And I have a new company that I'm starting, and I'm really excited about that. I have a lot of YouTube things I'll be doing, and YouTube is like where I want to be and what I want to be doing a lot. And I can't wait. I can't wait till all the new stuff. The onesie business is exciting, but I will be completely honest, it is not what I plan on doing for a very, very long time. I really want to build something of my own that has everything to do with what I love doing, and that is skateboarding, that is like business, that is technology. That is the kind of stuff that I'm really interested in, and that's like, I want to be really passionate about the work that I'm doing, because that is when you succeed the most. Now, when you do something to hopefully make money, and I mean, that's kind of where my onesie business is, even though I do care about it. I do love it a lot, but it doesn't really pertain to all my passions like YouTube does and like filmmaking does. So I'm excited about the future. I can't wait, and I'm motivated every single day to try to make it as awesome as possible, because everything is on the horizon. I never knew like now that I'd be doing the things that I'm doing a year ago, and I had high expectations even then, and I've kind of exceeded those expectations. So now I think like, dude, anything could happen for anyone, especially because I didn't know what I was doing and it worked out. So everyone out there who has any aspirations in doing anything exciting, keep those and just do whatever you possibly can to get that. This is turning into like a motivational speech, which might be silly, but who cares? I'm done. That's my Q&A. Thanks for watching, and tune in 12 hours to peep the day in the life. Not from today, because I'm like 5 days ahead, which is cool. I feel comfortable with that. Peep the day in the life. Good night.